What is going on, WDL fans? It is Jay Jingles back once again for probably the most exciting, maybe not the most exciting, because those matches were nuts in week 7. I don't know about you guys, but I guess you guys saw my reactions and you guys saw how I felt about these week 7 matches and the hype and the chaos and how close everything was and how it came right down to the very, very last match that they played. And it was just insane. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. And if you're here, that means you probably did, and you can't wait to see what the playoffs are going to look like. So welcome to the playoff preview video. Normally I go over each match for the entire week, but now we're down to 4 teams. 8 down to 4, cut the field right in half. And I think we got probably the 4 players that deserve to be there the most. I would say so. I think the 4 players that are in probably deserve to be there. Yes, Aaron just missed, but I also feel like Mount has made such a crazy end of his season, starting off 0-3, and then just going right to the end and just winning, almost winning out, and then just ending up losing in his last week. But yeah, like it was a nuts week. I think all 4 teams, we're gonna go over the 4 teams. I just to kind of give you guys an idea what's going to be happening in today's video. I do have, just in case you didn't notice, there's a little creature. Ditto has been rating these videos for the past little while now. So me and Ditto chatted. We had a conversation off camera, and we decided that we've got a little teaser at the end of the video. I hope you stick around at the very end, and I'll kind of explain what it means and stuff like that. But yeah, Ditto's been a good lad lately, so stick around to the end of the video, and if you're too impatient to skip to the very end, that's fine too, but make sure you watch everything in between. Maybe watch on 1.5 speed. That's a little life hack. So what we're also going to do is we're going to go over the final standings, exactly who finished where, how we got there. Then we're going to go over the matchups at a glance kind of thing, just kind of like what the matchups kind of look like a little bit, just quickly. And then we're going to really break it down. We're going to break down the 2 different matchups that we have, the season summary of both players, some of the transactions, just to kind of tell the story of how the season went, just in case you missed some of it. I'll do the best I can because I know that the doc isn't quite updated, but the first 5 weeks are the hardest to remember because they're the furthest away. But the most recent ones might be a little bit easier, but we're gonna go over transactions and yeah, and on week 1 teams, yeah, just obviously they face each other, so season tendencies, theory crafting on what they're gonna bring, and I'm gonna also tell you who's gonna win, like, because I already know this beforehand apparently. So I'm literally just gonna guess, and we're gonna have some fun with it. And then at the end, I'll show you guys the little teaser that we got going on. But let's dive right into it. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. Hit like down below if you're super excited about this season ending and who's gonna come out on top. I don't know who it's gonna be, and I've got my predictions, but we'll talk about who's playing well and who's probably most likely to get in. So not get in, but do well. Anyway, so as you guys can see on the screen, this is the Wolfey Draft League page. So let me see the final standing. Let's go. I actually have my own standings here because I have them. So it's not the greatest looking standing sheet, but the numbers are accurate. So James is first place, 5-1, sole position of that first place seed. Wolfey did have it for the majority of the season, but then kept on losing a few near the end of the season, and then James just kept on winning. What a great season by James, and just an absolute dominant showing with what team he drafted. Didn't make any transactions and just kind of went with it and just kept going. Wolfey kind of finished the season off a little cold. You know, I think he lost 3 straight to end the season. Just in case you didn't check out those matches, those were nuts. They weren't really blowouts. He was in a lot of them, and a few things happened. But yeah, Wolfey's Wolfey. I think when the matches really matter, you know, because I've also seen this as well. Some teams that are in first place earlier in the season, and they just kind of coast. I don't know if he did this. Maybe you prep a little bit less, maybe you don't go as hard, you know, and then you kind of just let things slip away because the people that are chasing you are playing so hard, and they're fierce competitors. But it's like, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna be fine, which he did. But you know, so maybe the momentum going into the playoffs might not be a thing for him because maybe he was putting in left time or whatever it is. But I've seen that as well. So Pokeaim, huge win to end the season, absolutely huge win, really needed it. I think he ended up beating Shady to make the playoffs, which was really big for him. Shady was really hot to finish the season. He won 2 of his last 3 weeks. and he was playing his best Pokemon, I think. He was playing really, really well, playing his team the way it was drafted, picked, and designed. So Joey ends up getting in, and then Mountaih ends up making the playoffs in the 4th slot with a loss. He was the hottest team going into the last week, but I think it was Necra, right? Necra ended up facing him. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure that was the case, but I don't want to say it wrong because the comments are too kind, right? Yeah, Mount versus Necra. Yeah, where's mine? We don't need their standings. So yeah, Mount versus Necra. Mount, man, like, again, sometimes you just have to tip your cap. I know people in the comments on my last video were saying how she got a double flinch on rock slide and stuff like that, and then the next one she got another rock slide, and it was just, you know what? That's why we play a best of 3. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't come down to one turn or whatever it might be. Yes, momentum's a thing, but she played so well. She brought such a strong team. Basically the team that I was wanting her to bring all season. She finally brought a really, really like powerful, in your face, this is my offense. There are many like it, but this one is mine. You know what I mean? If anybody knows that quote. But no, she went off in week 7, and I believe she deserved to win that match for sure. Mount just ran into a hot Necra team at that time. Aaron unfortunately ran into the top player in the league, and that was just a really crappy draw. For you have to face the top team at the end of the season to secure your playoffs, which is why the matches in the middle of the season matter so much. A single game, a single turn, if you're not playing optimally in such a tight race as this, like, fierce competitors, all 8 are very, very good players. There's no free wins. There's no days off. There's no nothing. Ask Wolfe. He lost 3 weeks to end the season, but he still ended up getting in. But Aaron did not end up getting in. Why do I see 3 and 3? He's actually 3 and 4, but maybe I didn't do his because I knew he was out. So 10 points. Yeah, I don't think I finished that, but he's 3 and 4. So ignore these numbers. They don't really matter. Well, the points matter because he didn't get any points, and the game wins, he didn't get any. So it's just these 2. Just ignore these 2. I don't remember what it was going into week 7, but he didn't get in. That's all you need to know. Didn't get in. So yeah, so that's basically the standings, and then you have Uzi, Necra, Shady at the bottom. But they had great seasons too. Like the fact that everybody finished with at least 2 wins, especially with Shady starting 0-4, ends up getting 2 wins in his last 3 weeks. Very good showing at the end. Necra, I think she was 1-4 at a point, and then she won her last 2 weeks. Uzi got his last week win of the season in the last week of the season, and he got it against one of his closest friends, Wolfe. So very, very fun narratives throughout the entire season, and it did not disappoint in the last week of the season. But hey, that was the regular season. And let's get into the matchups at a glance. So just so you guys understand, where is it? Right here. So just so you guys understand, it is so weird that this works out like this. So round 1, you've got James, which is first place, versus Mountaih, who faced off in week 1 of the regular season. Interesting, right? Obviously you rematched, but the first week, everybody played everybody, so it doesn't really matter. But the first week of the season, they played each other. Guess who else plays in round 1? Wolfey versus Pokeaim. And would you guess which match they played? They played week 1. So we have 2 week 1 matchups. They haven't played in over a month, and the teams are very different on both sides. So we're going to get into the difference in teams. We're going to get into what they mean, who won those initial ones, how close they were, this and that. What were the big effects of that match outcome? And are they still there? Are they not? So we'll dive into that as well. So, I don't exactly have the most tight plan for this video, so it's going to be a little, we're going to kind of figure it out as we go. But I think it's this, we've been around for the entire season. This shouldn't be too hard to talk about. And if anything, it just kind of shows like a raw understanding of what we're looking at here, especially with the new rosters. I'm not going to build brand new teams or anything like I do most weeks, because we've already done that for this matchup. But we'll talk about a few things that actually, you know, stand out and which look good going into the week. Maybe something they had, maybe they didn't have. So let's and then we'll get into Wolfey versus Pokeaim. That one's going to be a good one too, but we'll start with James versus Mount. So week 1, I actually have the teams here. So in week 1, Mountaih actually had a very different team in week 1. Mountaih had these 4, which he still has, but he had a Torkoal Executor. When you have a Sun on a team, that really changes what the team can do and also how you beat a team. So the fact that he got rid of the Torkoal on that team the team construct changes for and against no matter what. There are certain types that are just ineffective. There are certain types that are more effective. And we'll get into which one really benefited his opponent in week 1. Also the Trick Room mode, because it's so slow. So without it not being there, the Trick Room mode just isn't as good. But the team, I feel like it got a little bit more diverse, which was really nice. So that was that team originally. We'll get into exactly what they thought looked good. And James's team didn't change a whole lot. I don't even think he made a single transaction. So Mount actually has a little bit of an advantage because he found out what worked against his team. I guess a little bit because his team is a little different now. But you lost, but you don't have the same tools he does. So that's the other thing. So we've got the matchup actually right here. And James obviously had the same 10 Pokemon on the team. But what did he bring? Why did he bring what he brought? I guess we can get them side by side and have a look. So he brought the Cinderace against Mount, and I feel like that was the MVP of that week. If you haven't had a chance yet or haven't seen it in a while, go check out that match. Go rewatch these, because you're definitely going to see the contrast between that matchup and what this one's going to be, because Sun was a major factor for this Cinderace's success. That Pyroar, different Pokemon, Jay. Pyro Ball, Terra Fire, Blaze boosted in the Sun, so many multipliers. That doesn't exist unless he sets it himself, which is the thing. It works so well for him, so he might be able to just set the Sun himself. I don't know how he's going to do it. A lot of things get Sunny Day. I definitely know that Mount's not going to set it himself this week. But so that was a huge factor. I think he just went Pyro Ball and Super Fang and Protect and just kept it alive and whatever. The Annihilate, I don't even think was a huge factor, right? Like if I look back, like it was even Terra Fighting. But yeah, like Drain Punch, Rage Fist, Final Gambit, U-Turn with Choice Scarf, like it's a pretty standard set, so I can see possibly this coming again. You know what? Let's actually do what we normally do. Let's do this. Yeah. All right. I'm surprised I didn't do that in the first place. So let's do that, and then let's zoom in a little bit. 65%, I think I do. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is way easier. Why didn't I do this in the first place? I did it every single week for the entire season, then I just don't do it now. I do have EVs as well, guys. Ooh. I went and watched I got all the teams from all the prior videos and stuff like that, which I do have data. I've got some data over here in sheet 100. But yeah, we'll kind of go over what the tendencies were of these two players. So yeah, Pyro Ball looked good into his team. It still kind of does, right? And then you have the Super Fang. Obviously, you just want to chip for half and then just hit things like with above average damage. So Kilowattrel does that, Crocodile does that, Annihilate does that, Hydrapple does more than that, Revavroom does pretty average damage. So if you can knock things down to 50% or 51% if you spec properly, you only have to do 50% of things. So Close Combat will do that, a Blizzard might do that, Air Slash might knock down 50%, or Knockoff usually does about 50, 60, 70% to things. So I think Super Fang looks fantastic on Cinderace, so I expect to see that again. I don't know the item. Like looking at speed tiers, actually, like maybe I'll just go through the Pokemon he brought and then we'll kind of analyze the matchup with speed tiers and what we're expecting. And I'll let you guys hold me accountable. I'm not going to build a team, but who knows? We might build a team. Probably, knowing me, I'll probably build one anyway, now that I said I wouldn't. The Choice Scarf Annihilate, I do think it looks pretty good. How's the HP stat looking on Mount's side? So 110. So the only thing, actually two things. So he can't Final Gambit the Luna and he can't Final Gambit the Copperajah, which is fine. But being able to Final Gambit that Oranguru makes a lot of sense. And I think that Mountaih really, if you want Trick Room up, which he's been running dual mode the entire season ever since he made his transactions, right? He had very hard Trick Room initially, and now he actually balanced his team out really nicely. So he's got a nice divide of fast and slow, and he's got a great frail fast mode, and he's got Prankster Tailwind with a lot of middling speed tiers that do a lot of damage, and he has a really good Trick Room mode as well with Copperajah, Blood Moon or Saluna, Scraggy, you know, just as a nice support piece, Oranguru just doubling the damage because he gets to hit twice with spread damage. Like that Instruct with Hyper Voice is just so devastating. And even Blood Moon, you can instruct Blood Moon. It gets to, you can't select it twice in a row, but it can be used twice in a row with an Encore or Instruct. So that would be insane. Just you go for Blood Moon, delete one thing, instruct, delete the next thing, field gone. So that would be insane. But yeah, Final Gambit I think is really, really good for James. Just obviously be really careful. So if you're Mountaih, maybe just run Focus Ash on something. Maybe run, does he have Sturdy anywhere? No, so only gets one Focus Ash and one Terra, so use them, you know, use them wisely. So maybe even Terra Ghost on the Oranguru. I know that's a little tough with the Rage Fist, but Rage Fist isn't doing a ton if you don't give it boosts, right? So maybe that might be the way to go. And once you get the speed advantage in Trick Room, maybe you can just delete that Annihilate, the threat that the Oranguru has. You use the Terra, get Trick Room up, and now who cares if you're weak to it? You're hitting it twice, right? Might cause him to pivot out, and then, you know, he wants to bring it in after Trick Room's over, and timer goes down. 4 turns, you better win, or else he's going to come in and just clear the field. So I can see something like that be in effect. Blastoise, he's been using the Blastoise really well, actually. I actually have the data here. So for example, like Cinderace has been pretty much running Focus Ash like almost all season, but the Blastoise here, he's brought it 5 of the 7 weeks, guys. Like, I did this all myself, by the way. This is kind of proud of myself. I had some time on the train. 5 weeks he brought Blastoise. He brought a variant, like a bunch of different items, which is great. The ability, whatever. A few different Terra types, okay, fine. But the moves, look at all the moves he ran all season. Muddy Water was like a staple on it, so I think that makes sense, especially because he ran it this week, actually, specifically. Fake Out is almost a staple on it. Protect depends on the set he wants to run. Flip Turn, I'm not sure if he wants to do that again. I don't think he'll do Terra Rock again. I don't see it. Maybe he was finding that, like, he did, if you're gonna Terra out of the water type, you still want to resist that eruption from that Torkoal that was there. So I can't see Terra Rock being there right now. I know that Mount brought like Solar Beam and stuff like that, and because he doesn't have Sun, that's not going to come either. So it's going to be very different teams. So Blastoise, I can definitely see it coming. He used it so well. He clearly liked using it 5 of the 7 weeks. Yeah, different Terra types, so it's really hard to guess what you think he's going to do, especially with all the different moves, but this is like Mr. Utility. And you also have offensive options as well, so I'm not really sure which one he's going to bring. We can get into that in a minute. Ninetales Alola, he brought it 6 of the 7 weeks. He brought 5 different items of the 6 weeks he brought it. Snow Warning, obviously, you're not running Slowcoke. Slowcoke? Yeesh. Snow Cloak. Terra Water, Terra Ground. I felt like the Terra Ground was nice on the offensive sets. So maybe in Team Preview, when he's looking at the open Terras that they're submitted, maybe a defensive Terra. I don't remember why he went Terra Flying one week. I don't remember that. But Terra Water, you know, it's probably going for a defensive set. Terra Ground's probably an offensive set. Maybe Terra Blast. What did he bring? He brought Terra Water defensively against Mount the first week. So I don't know about how it looks offensively. We can go back to the matchup and have a look. Then you got the moves, right? Why do I have a gap there? That makes no sense. Why did I do that? That's bothering me. I can't even delete it either. Actually, yes, I can. Oh my goodness. If anybody else has a little bit of OCD, you understand. Ooh, much better. Much better. He ran Rain Dance one week. That's wild. I don't remember which week that was, but he ran Rain Dance on his Alola Ninetales. That's kind of cool, actually. Blizzard, he ran 5 of the 6 weeks, so that's probably going to be on there. Aurora Veil, he brought it, but I feel like he didn't set Veil almost all season. He brought it almost every single week for the 6 weeks, 66% of the weeks. Encore brought once, Protect not a lot. So if you have this data, you kind of look at tendencies. Like, players do have like calling cards and tendencies they like to do, right? Wait, what is going on here? Why do I have, what is this Assault Vest just randomly here? Weird. Oh, well, maybe my sheet's all messed up. I don't really know, but at least the data's here. It looks like there was just a little bit of a gap here. Just go delete cells, shift up. Yeah, there we go. All right, all is well. Because I actually added more over here, so that might have been why. Maybe I did add new row rather than add new cells. So it just made it like straight across. It just messed up my spreadsheet, but as long as the data is there, we should be okay. So that's it for the Ninetales, I guess. There's a bunch of different moves that he ran on it all season. Like even Ice Shard, I think he wanted to run Weakness Policy one week on the Hydrapple, so that's probably how he was going to do that. Moonblast ran a couple times. Freeze Dry was pretty good. But the Terra Ground Terra Blast was really effective this season. I liked it. Icy Wind, pretty standard. So, but there's not really any sort of like obvious moves that Ninetale's gonna have. Like you could guess, but Blizzard, Aurora Veil, you could probably make a safe bet, and then everything else is just you can't really guess, right? Like, yeah, it's he built his teams really well, and Cheelon Berry, expect that to be on something on this team, because when you're facing a Blood Moon Ursaluna, that thing is just a delete button. So you definitely want to be able to take that hit really well. So finding information from Mount is going to be really important for him. Hydrapple, I feel like this thing was one of his MVPs this season. He used it more later in the season. I felt like he brought it a lot more actually when I was going over the data. But look at the items: Life Orb, Weakness Policy, Cheelon Berry, Assault Vest. Sure, like that. Like I think there was even one week he ran Infestation. Week 1, he actually ran Infestation week 1 against Mount. So, and I thought that was a choice. It was like a really supportive set, just really annoying. I think I even saw the EV spreads, and look how bulky it is. Look at that. So he's got obviously Focus Sash there. Max HP, no attack. Max HP, basically max Spadef. Max HP, no speed. Max HP, max Spadef. Max HP, max Spadef. He just went super bulky, right? So I wonder if he's going to build his team a lot bulkier as well. Like, and even the items, Leftovers for more HP, Assault Vest for more defense, Cheelon Berry to resist, Citrus Berry. Everything is really for survivability on James's side. So expect to see more of that in this match, because the team has changed, but it doesn't lean towards a hard Trick Room as much as it did. So the fact that there's a big difference, now James actually has to figure out what he wants to do. Do you want to embrace the Trick Room, or do you want to have both modes? Like, his Duosion's been kind of good for him this season, but do you want to stop Trick Room? Do you want to be in it? So Mount's success has been a lot of running both. I feel like his better weeks is he's brought both modes, leaned on one or the other given the scenario. And now that he has that, it's really difficult for his teams to plan into them. So this is going to be a really interesting match. So that's James's team. That's what he brought week 1. We can go over a little bit more of the data, exactly what we think he's going to bring when it comes to the type matchup and stuff like that. Let's just fix this again. No delete cells, shift up. There we go. I wonder how many more of those there are. I think that's it, actually. So let's go into Mount's team. There we go, Mount's team. So you have the Ursaluna Blood Moon. He didn't run Earth Power on it. That was a little bit of a surprise. Like, do we think he'll run Earth Power on it this week? Honestly, the only reason to be there is really for the Rev of Room. So I feel like you can run ground coverage somewhere else. Maybe, but like, it just hits really hard. Like, you just want to use the normal stab, right? Like, he only has 2 resist to normal, and one of them is the ghost type that you hit with Mind's Eye anyway. So it's really the Rev of Room. So I actually don't know how you don't bring Earth Power on here. Because like, the reason Mind's Eye is so good is because normal types are obviously immune from ghost types. Ghost types are immune to normal, but because you hit ghost types, now what are your resisted types? You have your steel. Well, it's hit by ground. Awesome. Rock, hit by ground. Great. So why wouldn't you run ground coverage on a set like this? I think he felt like Vacuum Wave was important, but I feel like why not just run the Earth Power? Not like it would have really helped against the Cinderace that week because it had Focus Sash. But I can definitely see a little bit of a different kind of set on this. I don't know if it'll have Vacuum Wave. Maybe he just wants to break the Sash, but there was a Sash user there that really abused most of the matchup and he couldn't stop it. So just hit it twice, I guess, right? A lot of spread damage. He's got no wide guard, so just spread damage would be great. You break Sashes, do damage, and just start clearing the field, right? Choppleberry, yeah, maybe. Like, again, James has the same kind of squad, right? He doesn't have a different team, so you got to watch out for high jump kick. You got to watch out for close combat. And other than that, like Focus Blast, maybe? Like I'm trying to think, like, he's got, like, special attackers. He's more of a physical team anyway. Like, the special attackers, what, Duosion, Hydrapple, and other than that, like, so I feel like you could just, like, you don't really need to run Assault Vest on this thing, so maybe that's why he ran the Choppleberry last time. Maybe a defensive Terra this time. instead of going Terra normal, and then you have the item at your disposal. Like, I know Mount's been running Life Orb on his Ursalunas later in the season. I think the last 3 weeks of the season, he ran Life Orb. So you find a set that you like, you're like, I'm winning with it, so let's keep doing it. So Life Orb, Ursaluna, pretty standard set I'm expecting this week upcoming. Blood Moon, Hyper Voice, Earth Power, Protect, and then maybe a defensive Terra, something like maybe Ghost, maybe Bug. I don't know if it's Bug. Like, what Terra would it be? Like, James has such a good team, right? So that's the problem, right? Like, I guess depending on what the Blood Moon calcs look like, I guess I'm not really afraid of, like, yeah, the Crocodile is pretty good too, right? Like, what is the Terra going to be on this thing? It's not going to be Bug, because you've got the Cinderace that just destroyed you last time. You don't want to let it happen again. You don't want to go Electric, because you've got the Crocodile right there that's really good. And if it's Assault Vest, I'd be pretty scared of that thing. With Blood Moon, it probably doesn't KO the Crocodile with an Assault Vest. Do you go Water? Okay, Kilowattrel, maybe. If you're gonna go Water, maybe you go Assault Vest, so you can start taking those Electric hits a little bit better, and Hydrapulse hits. So is it Grass? You know, I don't mind taking Ninetales hits and Kilowattrel hits. Okay, at least you resist the Hydrapple, but then the Cinderace, so you don't want to do that. Let me see, what else? Maybe Dragon? Like, it's probably Dragon, you think? Because it's just the Ninetales. I feel like if you just go like Blaziken next to the Blood Moon or Ursaluna, and then the Ninetales is just threatened. If you tear the Ninetales, you can hit it with pretty much anything and get rid of it. And if it doesn't, Blaziken can hit it, maybe like a Protect, and then just delete this thing, because you got to watch out for Sash. You don't want to get hit, but I don't know. I guess Dragon makes sense to me. I'd roll the dice on that one. Like, you got to pick your poison, right? There's not gonna be a single Terra type that is gonna go into the entire team. There just isn't. So you got to pick one at, you know, and what are you willing to deal with, right? Like, some people might see a Terra type chosen, and it's like, oh really, why would you do that? It's because they've chosen that battle, so it's almost giving away what their team is. It's like, oh my goodness, so they clearly didn't really care about my Ninetales, so what else on the team deals with my Ninetales? And they're going to want to target it down. If I see this thing led, they're going to want to target it down, so, or whatever it might be. It just reveals a little bit of a play style. So Terra types give away quite a bit, defensively and offensively. Like, if you see Terra Ground on the Ninetales on the other side, you know it's probably going to be an offensive one, so makes sense. But then we've got the Oranguru. Going over to the data over here, Oranguru, he brought, oh, let's go to the other one. Where is it? Mountaih. 4 times. So he didn't bring it all season. I feel like, yeah, he went with a little bit more of a fast mode. I feel like Oranguru came a lot early in the season and came a little bit less as the season went on. So maybe because of his success throughout the season, or like as the season went on, maybe we're less likely to see this. I still think Oranguru is fantastic. I thought that Symbiosis set I was talking about last week would have been really cool, where you get a Throat Spray boost on the Ursaluna, then you pass over with Symbiosis the Silk Scarf or a damage boosting item or an Assault Vest or whatever it is. But if you run Assault Vest, then you have to pass the item. So anyway, so maybe don't do that. Yeah, Oranguru, Inner Focus all season, didn't run a Symbiosis once. Terra Fighting, Rock, and Fairy. The Rock was really because I think he didn't want to take an Eruption from Uzi. I think that's what that was for. I thought it was a great idea, and he didn't even use the Terra, which it was there for, which was funny. I'll make fun of him for that. Let me see. So Trick Room, Encore, Psychic Noise, Instruct. Those are pretty common. Like, I feel like you're probably most likely to see those moves. Like, he liked running Encore. I like it on it. Maybe not all the time, but Trick Room will obviously be there. He ran it 3 of the 4 weeks. Encore 3 of the 4 weeks. Instruct 3 of the 4 weeks. Like, Instruct with no redirection on the other side of the field. Like, you probably want to run Instruct, but he's got the Furret, which I think he's only brought once. So, like, and what did he bring? Like, where's the Furret down here? Yeah, he brought it one time with this very unique set. So Frisk could be useful in a matchup like this, because I can see it going a while. So maybe you don't want to Instruct, but just don't Instruct when the Furret's on the field and you'll be just fine. So I think you can still run it. I hear people say all the time in preps, like, I can't bring this because of this. I can't bring this mon or this move or whatever it is because they have this. Well, that only exists in one scenario in the game. It might come up a lot. In that case, you're like, it doesn't mean you can't. It means like it might not be wise to, but you can bring something. And if the board state is slightly different, maybe give yourself the board state you want. You know, it's like, oh, like for example, I can't bring Intimidate because they have a King Gambit. Well, that's not true. You can bring it. Just be careful. You know, like maybe find out if it's on the field, bring it into the back row. If they let it, okay, don't switch it on. Maybe try to get rid of it early on. And if it's not on the field, you can switch it in early and now it's on the field. And when King Gambit hits the field, you don't have to worry about pivoting it in and out. So, and if you're playing more of a balanced style play and you're trying to like get positioning more than anything, maybe you don't want to bring it. So if you're playing like you want to intimidate once and then just start going off to give your partner a good matchup, then go for it. That's my little rant for the moment. So anyway, and yeah, I think Oranguru makes sense this week too. You got to bring, I think his success has been from bringing both modes, Trick Room and Tailwind. So I 100% expect him to bring both because James's team is really good on both sides as well. But I think he's more likely to lead the non-Trick Room side, especially when Mount side is so strong at Trick Room. He's got one of the best Trick Room threats in the game in Ursaluna Blood Moon. So I can see James possibly leaning towards not doing that, maybe stopping Trick Room from going up, maybe with a hyper offensive mode or even Imprison or Taunt or phasing or whatever it is. I can see something along those lines. So Mount might want to consider bringing both. You know, you got the Prankster Tailwind, which he doesn't have. He's got a good Tailwind setter, but I can see possibly Focus Sash on the Kilowattrel as well. I've been saying this all season. If somebody has a faster Tailwind setter than you, they probably have Sash because like, well, it'd be a good idea to run Sash because I can set it and you're only KOing me with one, you know, oh, sorry. You run Sash yourself if someone's going to do it against you because if they're going to set Tailwind, okay, fine. You only get one hit off against me because you're setting Tailwind with one and the other one is doing damage. So I can match your Tailwind if I run Focus Sash. So I can see James running a Focus Sash Kilowattrel, nothing crazy there. It's a pretty common item on it. I know it's run a bunch of different items this season, like Choice Scarf was one, Covert Cloak obviously is another good one. So yeah, Illumise does have the speed advantage. So if you lead it, maybe expect him to have a Focus Sash on the Kilowattrel. I think it just makes perfect sense. But yeah, the Blaziken, he actually ran in week 1. He ran it with the special one with Solar Beam. So that's definitely not being brought this time. Does it still look good this week? Maybe. Maybe he was more afraid of the Blastoise. So if you're going to bring it, maybe the Masquerada being there is enough so you can run a more standard Blaziken. But that Hydrapple, you definitely need an answer for that Hydrapple. That thing is so good. Like, so maybe you find a way to fit Moonblast on your Ursaluna Blood Moon, just so you can get rid of that. And then the Crocodile as well, and the Annihilate. I think Moonblast looks actually pretty good on Ursaluna. Just because that Hydrapple is so strong. An Assault Vest one would be pretty good because, like, how else are you hitting this thing? You can bring an Ice coverage if you wanted to, like Triple Axle on Meowscarada. Looks really good. You got to see how the team's been played. Like Triple Axle gets around Focus Sash on the Kilowattrel as well. Probably KOs the Crocodile. Just got to watch out for the Intimidate from it. So I can see Meowscarada having like Flower Trick, Knockoff, Triple Axle, and then Protect, or maybe a Band or Scarf or something like that. Does it underspeed Kilowattrel? Let me see. Kilowattrel's 125. Yeah, it does. So I would guess Scarf Meowscarada would make sense here. Or you just, if it's not, you just lean on the Tailwind from Illumise, you Tailwind and then Triple Axle and you'll be fine. Probably a Defensive Terra on Kilowattrel if it's Sash. I doubt it'll be Ghost. It might be Water. That makes sense because Triple Axle's really good into the team. Yeah, I'm just kind of spitfiring here right now. Like, just because there's just so much to look at right now. This is usually the thought process that I go through when I'm building my teams as well. Like, what's likely to have this? What do I need for this? If they do this, do I lose? How do I make a bad matchup a good one? Like, for example, like Illumise and Kilowattrel. Well, okay, well, I can't lead Kilowattrel because he has Prankster Tailwind. Well, again, Protect Tailwind's a fantastic turn. You know, Kilowattrel goes down to Sash or is KO'd after its Tailwind goes off. Beautiful, right? Now you got Tailwind the next turn. As long as your partner outspeeds their partner naturally, you're fine. So they can set Tailwind all they want. So, and so on and so forth. Like, oh, I can't bring this because of this. I can't do this because of this. Well, you have so many tools at your disposal, such as moves, items, partners, Terra types that can make a bad EV spreads, for example. Like, look at these EV spreads for these guys. They cook. These guys spend a lot of time in the calculator. So yeah, it's just all part of team building, and that's why we all love draft so much. And then the last two Pokemon I guess we didn't talk about the Illumise. So Terra Water, Covert Cloak, pretty standard. Again, pretty standard. Illumise, Tailwind, Encore, Fake Tears, Sunny Day. Fake Tears on this thing is so scary. Like, the only way to stop this is a Dark type or Covert Cloak. Sorry, not Covert Cloak, Clear Amulet. That's it. Like, I'm trying to think of any other ways. Like, maybe it's a deterrent to have the competitive on there and the Defiant. You know, maybe he might activate it on purpose anyway. That way, because if he's faster, you get the -2. Yes, he gets +2 and the Kilowatcher gets +2, whatever. But if you're faster, it goes down before you get the hit off anyway. So, you know, activating that might not be that big of a deal. So Fake Tears, I think, looks fantastic into this matchup, in any matchup, really. He did bring Sunny Day, though, just as a secondary way of setting the Sun over the Torkoal. But I think he learned his lesson the first time around. There's no way he's setting Sun for that Cinderace. So that, and then you have the Executor. That was actually his big game 1 lead. He went for like a Terra almost right away, and then he just started doing crazy damage. Sleep Powders into that Cinderace was massive, and then he kind of leaned away for that. I don't even know if the Torkoal went to the match, did it? I feel like he didn't. He just set Tailwind for it. Yeah, I think he did. He might have set Sun later, but... Oh yeah, no, he set the Sun later. I just don't remember if it was manual or Torkoal for that Cinderace. It might have been Torkoal. I'd have to go back and watch it, but yeah, don't do weather. You might need anti-weather. I don't even think I would care about the weather. If I'm Mount, I wouldn't even care about the weather. Just let him do it. Maybe bring like Brick Break on the Blaziken or something. You know, if you're going to do that. That way, if he sets it, you can clear them. Or set your own, right? That way, like, you're both doing equal damage. So, depending on how he wants to play it, right? But let's look at the data just so we can kind of figure out what we think both players are leaning towards. So James's team, the Annihilate came 6 of the 7 weeks, Crocodile 5 of the 7 weeks, Blastoise 5, Hydrapple 4, Ninetales 6, Duosion 4, Revavroom 4, Kilowattrel 4, Furret 1. So he spread out the love throughout his entire roster all season. So I actually have no idea what he's going to bring, because the Annihilate didn't come. I had Annihilate in a draft once. There was no universe where it wasn't coming to a match. It was just which role was it going to fill for me, and that was it. I think because he brought the Annihilate in week 1 against him with the Choice Scarf, that is a very unique strategy. That team had the 2 Pokemon that had higher HP when he played him, and he still did it. And if anything, his team got less bulky, so why wouldn't you do it again? Right? So he didn't reveal the Choice Scarf Annihilate, I don't think. I don't really remember. Maybe he did. I'm sure you people in the comments will let me know. But yeah, like, so I think this Annihilate set that he brought in week 1, maybe slightly like changing it up. He'll probably have U-Turn on there to pivot out. He'll probably have Final Gambit, Close Combat, or Drain Punch makes sense, and probably Rage Fist, I would imagine. Defiant makes sense because you have... Does he have an Intimidate user? 1 second. Scraggy. Yeah, so maybe he brings the Annihilate, but Defiant, there's no Sleep on the other side of the field anymore, so you don't have to worry about running Vital Spirit. Inner Focus doesn't really make sense if you have Defiant, unless you want to stop the Mirror Herb stuff if you think he's going to do that, but that's a hard read. So maybe he doesn't do that. But yeah, but I think Annihilate looks pretty good here. What else we got? Cinderace, maybe it's less likely to be brought because he doesn't have the obvious Sun mode this time, but I still think it's pretty good. So maybe Cinderace comes. It's been running Focus Sash 2 of the 3 weeks. Assault Vest, I'm not sure if he lost that week. I don't really remember. He's been bringing Cinderace a little bit less as the season's gone on. Like, this was his early season MVP. Pyro Ball, U-Turn, Super Fang, Sucker Punch was good for him. High Jump Kick, I don't have confidence like that. I keep going and crash. I would all the time. Terra Stellar's really scary on this thing. For like a, if you run like such good coverage that it has, right? And then you get the Stellar boost and you just get boosts on all of them. Blaze, I think, is pretty good too if you're running Focus Sash, or you could just run the Libero. Why not? And it's basically Terra Stellar on steroids for a turn, right? You get the stab boost, and then you can Terra Stellar, and it does even more. So, Crocodile, I think, looks really good too. But again, you have to be able to stop what you think is going to be leading for them. So, if you're James right now and you're looking at this squad, this is numero uno right here, the Ursaluna Blood Moon. You need 3 things that don't mind being on the field for this thing. So, guaranteed Hydrapple's coming. I don't think there's any question Hydrapple's coming. It has to. There aren't tons of threats for it, non-stab, like Inteleon with Ice Beam, Ice Punch on Electivire. You've got the... I'm trying to think if there's anything. Ice Punch on Illumise, why not? Scraggy gets Ice Punch, Triple Axle, but Blood Moon gets Moon Blast. So I think a bunch of non-stab moves, you can handle that, especially with like Fake Out support. You've got Redirection, you have other offense, you've got Speed Control for days, you got pivots for it, so even if they do want to lean into it, like, so maybe James has to look out for a Terra Ice somewhere on the team. If you see Terra Ice, it might be telegraphing it, or it might just be playing a sneaky mind game. I've done that before. I think one week I ran a Sandy Shocks with Terra Ice against a Landorus Therian. And I only did it because I think I was facing an Iron Bundle, and it's not Ice is not a bad defensive Terra against a bundle, because you're not weak to the water anymore, and you resist the ice. Not many things resist ice, and freeze dry. You're not, you don't want to be weak to freeze dry if you go water. So yeah, so I didn't even run Terra Blast on it, and he was playing around it the whole match. So that was kind of funny to actually say. I talked to him after, and he was just like, "You had Terra Blast, right?" I'm like, "Nah, it was just a bluff." So I thought that was kind of funny. So we might be able to see something like that. I think James needs to watch out for the other team. You have to be aware of it. Terra Blast is just like, kind of like Hidden Power used to be, right? You just, whenever you want to pull it out, you just can. You just use it whenever you need, when you need it, but you can only do it once. So, what were we talking about here? So, oh yeah, the data, right? What we think he's going to bring. The Hydrapple, I think, looks fantastic. The Duosion, maybe. I can see it depending on if he wants to play in it or stop it. This thing is fairly strong. I think we had a good conversation in the comment section of that last reaction match, where Duosion is just 120 or 125 special attack, I forget, but that's as strong as its evolution, and that's not a common thing. I don't even think that that's ever happened, where the special attack is the same. Usually it goes up when it evolves, and it just doesn't. It's just the same. So the bulk is there, the Eviolite is there, so it might even be bulkier actually. Revavroom, Kilowattrel, Furret. It's weird. It's really hard for me to guess what we think they're going to bring, because he spread it out all season. And that's one of the hardest things about draft when you face a player like this. There's no tendencies. Very little. Like Annihilate, maybe. Ninetales, maybe. Other than that, you're just kind of guessing. Like, I think Hydrapple looks great, but he only brought it a handful of times, right? He did bring it in this matchup. Like, what did he bring in this matchup? Like, yeah, like, honestly, why wouldn't you bring the same team again? Like, seriously, like, does he have answers for everything on this team with what he brought? So, Ursaluna, you've got the Hydrapple. The Grass Knot probably does a lot of damage. You don't want to drop your special attack from the Leaf Storm. The Blastoise with Muddy Water. Yeah, you'd probably take hits really well from the Ursaluna. And what else? You've got the Final Gambit, which you might have to chip it before you do it. Drain Punch goes into it, you know. Yeah, you have enough answers for the Ursaluna with these 6. Meowscarada, a Blizzard, you've got the Pyro Ball, you've got Fake Out Break Sashes, things like that. Meowscarada can't do any damage to Revavroom, so why not, right? So that's not bad. Oranguru, you have to be willing to play in Trick Room. Like, you're okay with letting an Oranguru stick around as long as you have answers for the partners, right? So, as long as you can answer the partners, you might be okay. Hydrapple, I think, might underspeed Ursaluna, or is it? 44, and Ursaluna is what, 50? 52, yeah. So you do underspeed it. So a little bit of mind games there. Just, are you going to set it for me? That's a question you'd probably ask. So I'll play in whatever room you want, says James, right? Going back to the matchup. So Illumise, yeah, you're fine. Scraggy, he didn't have a fairy move on the Ninetales. That Scraggy could be a problem. Did he pick that up later in the season? I forget. I don't remember if he made that transaction, but I know he swapped out, like, Meowscarada wasn't there, Electivire wasn't there, and Inteleon wasn't there, Toxapex wasn't there. I know he made 2 rounds of trades, so I don't remember if Scraggy was around in the first one. But I feel like it was. I can't remember, but I feel like it was acquired in like week 3. So that's a new element as well. And then Electivire, he's got... Let me see... Yeah, you'll need another answer for Electivire, I feel. The Kilowattrel, Electivire just completely walls it, so maybe like a Terra Ground, Terra Blast or something. Maybe. And then just watch out for the electric damage into the team, which doesn't look fantastic. It looks okay. Like electric, flying, nothing, flying. Yeah, Kilowattrel looks pretty good. Maybe. So you might need to add it to this team, right? I'm trying to think what you'd take off. This team looks really solid. Like, is it Ninetales you take off? I don't know if Ninetales looks particularly good here, so maybe that's the one to go. We'll have to see what actually shows up. The Blaziken, I feel like you have enough answers for it. You've got the Blastoise. You've got the Annihilate looks pretty good into it. The Hydrapple, you know, you're hitting it for neutral damage, so an Earth Power would hit it pretty hard back. Just watch out for the Revavroom. He had the Terra Rock to get around the fire damage, but another defensive Terra is just fine. Rock is a choice. Interesting. Because then the Ursaluna with the ground coverage. Yikes. Probably just Terra Water, I would imagine. But then you got to watch out for Meowscarada, so... Yeah, that's really tough. So honestly, I can't see James making too much of a change to his team. At least the 6. I can see the moves changing quite a bit because you can kind of run the same style but on different things. Hydrapple, I don't think it's going to be as annoying with this, like Pollen Puff, Infestation. I can't see that happening again. Probably more of an offensive set. I know he ran an offensive Hydrapple as the season went on with like Life Orb, Weakness Policy, Nasty Plot. It was more of a damage dealer than this set was, so I can see something like that. But Mount's team going into James' team, he has a very different team. Illumise, I think, has to come in some regard. Blaziken, I think, looks pretty good as well. Because definitely not the Solar Beam, but I think Close Combat and Fire coverage looks good into the roster as well. Ursaluna Blood Moon is guaranteed coming. 1,000,000% is coming. I think the Oranguru kind of has to come too. If he builds the team that I'm talking about with like the contrast speed tiers, so you run your Trick Room mode, you run your fast mode with the Tailwind. So I think, again, in team preview, giving people something to think about. That's got to be what it is. So if he's going to win this match, he needs to bring both modes. His matches that he's been winning as the season's gone on, he's had both. You know, going one-dimensional hasn't been winning in matches this season, so it seems to be what he's more comfortable with. He's got a grasp on his team. We're going to forget about Necros matchup. But again, Necro, I feel like, just kind of outplayed him. So, and a little bit of flinches and stuff like that. A lot went right. But yeah, so I wouldn't worry about that one. I think he's just got a really good handle on his team. James has a really good handle on his team as well. Yeah, like, is redirection a thing on this team? Like, against like an obvious like Tailwind Hyper Voice or a Trick Room Hyper Voice, maybe Furret just doesn't come. So let's delete things as we go. Like, I don't think Furret's coming. Trying to think what else. Like, I don't think Toxapex comes on his team. I think Electivire looks pretty okay in some regard. Whether or not it's redirection, I actually think Follow Me looks great. So maybe not the Inteleon. Like, it's like, could you do pledges? Like, I don't think he's done it yet this season. I think he's brought it, but he hasn't really done it. It's just the problem is if you set the pledges and lower his speed by like down to a quarter, if they set Trick Room now, it's you're not outspeeding nothing, right? So wait, what's this? Oh, I just deleted his 10th Pokemon. Copperajah, probably not. I don't think Copperajah looks great into this matchup. What else? Scraggy? Probably not. Probably not. It's too risky, right? Like, you just... It's too risky. So then we got 7 left. I don't know if I want to narrow it down to 6. I feel like any combination of the 7. I think Ursaluna is coming for sure. Meowscarada is coming for sure. Oranguru is coming for sure. Illumise is coming for sure. I think it comes down to these 3. Like, 2 of the 3 of these last 3 are coming. Well, they have to, obviously, but which two is the question. I don't know. I thought Electivire looked pretty good, but how much support do you want to bring, right? Like, the support set, I think, would look good. But with 2 other support mons, now you only have really 3 damage dealers. So maybe in a hybrid format that you bring this Electivire could be good. Inteleon, Blaziken, maybe one of those 2. I think, you know what? I'm probably going to say Electivire, Illumise, Oranguru, Meowscarada, Blood Moon, Ursaluna are coming. I think this is a hybrid set. I think Motor Drive looks fantastic with Follow Me, and then you can run some offense. And then one of these 2, Inteleon, Blaziken. It's got to be Blaziken, doesn't it? Does it have to be Blaziken? I feel like it does. I just don't know what Inteleon offers you more. That, like, the Crocodile could get out of hand, but you have close combat on Blaziken. So, yeah, I'm going to lock that in. I think those are the 6 that are coming right there. So let's take Inteleon off. I think this is it right here. And then we've got the... Yeah, they're right there. And then on James's team, what do I think looks good? I think the Revavroom looks okay. The Hydrapple coming for sure. The Kilowattrel, I think the Ninetales doesn't come, even though I think he might bring it because it's really good. But I think that out of the things you want to bring to this matchup, now that it's a different roster, I feel like I would leave the Ninetales off of that team. Crocodile is just so good. Like, how do you not bring Crocodile? Kilowattrel, I think, looks pretty good too, just because of all the things it hits. Annihilate is really hard to leave at home. Cinderace was so good for you, but was it only good because of the sun? That might be a decision he makes, so maybe not that. Revavroom, I think it's a hard bring. I think it didn't do enough in the first week. Like, it was okay, but like Ursaluna Blood Moon, if he ran the Earth Power on there, like, he played around it, but it's just so good, right? But you also need to be able to resist those normal moves, right? How do you not? This is tough. Maybe Duosion doesn't come. And then the last mon. This is really hard, guys. I don't even want to narrow this down. Like, is it Crocodile that stays home? But then how do you get rid of the Electivire? Maybe it's the Blastoise because the Meowscarada's there now. But he used it so well to pivot things around. I'm going to leave it at those 7. I don't think I can narrow it down to a 6. I think you're going to see a team combination of this 7. And I think these are the 6 he's going to bring with possibly Inteleon there. I think that makes perfect sense. So out of these 7, there's going to be a team of 6 and same as that. So yeah, so I think that's basically it for, like, we've theory crafted, but other than who's going to win, oh man, this is really tough. I am a Mount fan, but how do you bet against James? James Beck has been one of the best players in the world in VGC in the past little while. He's been playing so well. This season, he's been playing so well. Mount's a great player. This might not be his best team he's ever had. He's doing well with the team. He did lose against Necra, so maybe there's a little bit of confidence thing. I don't know. But it seems like all the metrics are pointing to James winning. Not even just the standings. It's just the way James has been playing his team so diverse. He's been playing the team so differently every single week. We could see a whole new 6 and a whole new set of items, a whole new set of movesets, EVs, everything, different play style. It just seems easy for him, you know? He's been stomping people. His only loss was against Wolfe, right? And that was mid-season, so I would, sorry Mount, I love you buddy, but I think James might have the edge this week. Percentage wise, do I want to do that? That might be kind of fun. I'd probably give it like a 60%. Like, I think it's not like Mount's going to lose. It's more just like, I would give the edge. Like I said, I'd probably say 60-40, James would win. I definitely think this is going to a game 3. I don't think there's any question this is going, there's no blowouts here. Sorry guys, there's no blowouts. And if it is a 2-0, it's a 1-0-1-0. Right? So I think I've beaten this matchup to death. I actually have less data for the Wolfey versus Pokeaim matchup. I have their teams here, but I actually ran out of time to find like the metrics and stuff like that of like all the moves and how frequently they brought them and stuff like that. I wish I had a stats guy. I would love a stats guy. But I love stats so much. I love how they tell a story, but unfortunately I just don't have the time to do all the stat recording and stuff like that, as we found out earlier this season. And you also saw how much I enjoyed them by going over them in the last matchup. But I have a bit. I don't have a lot here. But let's dive into Wolfey versus Pokeaim. So Wolfey versus Pokeaim. So the season summary: Wolf has had a great season, at least a great start to the season. Finished 4-3, second place. Could have been a lot worse than that based on how he finished his season with 3 losses. And even if Mount and Aaron also won, that would have been very risky for Wolfey, because there was actually a chance Wolf missed the playoffs after starting the season 4-0. And that would have been so disappointing in a league where he started so strong. And I felt like he's played his team really well too. So, yeah, like he has not finished strong. I feel like the team building hasn't been there. I don't think it's the play. I feel like he might not have had the tools he's needed for those wins. Yes, they were a little close. There were a couple blowouts. Like that Shady game, like, yes, I think he missed a Draco Meteor, but I feel like Shady was in the driver's seat for the most part. And then he lost against, what was his other matchup? He lost against Uzi. I felt like Uzi was in the driver's seat most of the time as well. You know, I built the team with them, so I felt like it was a really strong team. And I don't know if time is an issue, IRL kind of thing. So like maybe he was throwing teams together. I think he mentioned a couple of times he kind of built teams quickly. But yeah, that might have been the case as well. But I feel like, yeah, like he's been playing okay. It's just that the squad hasn't really been optimal for a heavy prep draft. I think he's a fantastic player, but you get what you put into draft. And if the time wasn't there to really build and theory craft the team, maybe that's what was leading to the losses throughout the season. But it doesn't really matter where you finish in the standings. You just got to make it, and he did. So whole new season starting this round 1. Did he make a transaction? Yes, he made a transaction. He grabbed Hisui and Sligu, and he dropped the Dene. Dedenne never hit the field once, never came to a team once before he dropped it, so that's kind of funny. But he won a game with Sligu. So this is another player that's been using his whole team. Like, I don't have the stats for it, but I think we've seen everything almost equally. His MVP being probably Trevenant most of the season. I feel like he's brought Trevenant and Noivern almost every single week. Again, talking about those other matchups where you bring Tail Room or Trick Room and Tailwind in the same match. In that way, in team preview, your opponent has to make a decision. You have to play to both modes. You can't just go hyper offense super fast. If you can't stop Trick Room from going up, you usually lose on turn 1 almost, unless you can stall it out somehow. So you kind of have to play bulky. You have to play a little bit more conservative when you see a team like this. And Wolfey has been getting the edge on people with this combination. So he's been baton passing with his Espathra. I think he did it twice, or tried to do it twice. The first time successfully, the second time overwhelmed with offense and couldn't get it off. The Glamora, I feel like, hasn't really been coming as the season's gone on. I think he brought it early on, but not so much as it went on. Hariyama, I think, is like a sneaky Pokemon, and the MVP per Marina on his team. Venonat has been sneaky. Mamoswine's been pretty good for him. I feel like he's lost more games with Mamoswine than he's won. I could be wrong on that, but so again, if I had these numbers and these metrics, like I find out which Pokemon came, what was his win percentage when he brought those Pokemon, and all that fun stuff. I'm a sports guy, baseball at heart, and I love stats. I love me some stats. So if anybody's watching this right now and is a stats guy and loves recording stats and loves what they tell, the story they tell, DM me. I'm looking for a stats guy for future seasons. Let me know. This is a lot of fun, and we can do this together. I would love to have them, and if you're into it too and you would enjoy it and it's not work to you, let me know and we'll figure something out, because I love them. But anyway, so that's basically the story of Wolf's season so far. Pokeaim, on the other hand, I felt like he drafted one of the strongest teams in the draft. He had a strong rain core. He had basically every way under the sun, getting up the rain. He had his Meowstic, he had his Riolu. There might have been a little bit of overlap with his Prankstermons, but Riolu also had another role as well with coaching and things like that. Just disruption. But he made some mid-season transactions. He did really well early in the season. I think he was like 3-1. Then he like blew the team up, and it's just been a grind, right? I feel like even his wins have been a grind. His losses have been like, yikes, so you didn't have the tool you needed. I think he's been, again, another example of, I feel like, not having the tools on the roster to bring to the match. Like I was saying, Wolfey didn't have the tools in the match that he chose not to bring. I felt like Pokeaim didn't have it on the roster. Like he kind of got rid of his modes that I thought made his team super strong. The Comfey's been like a nice add, but I liked the Meowstic better on this team. Just the fact that it had Prankster Weather, and you didn't have to bring the Pelipper every time. You could just bring the Meowstic, you could set screens. He gave that week 1 match against Wolfe was so much fun because he set light screen, he faked out, he had a little bit of damage, like he had the rain up, and I felt like he was in the driver's seat. It was a really close match, and he ended up losing against Wolfe. But like, this team is not bad. It's just, again, I've been saying this all season. I feel like he took a step backwards with this team. So yeah, that's basically Pokeaim's season in a nutshell. Like if we kind of look at his schedule, where was it? Where is Joey's schedule? So he went loss, win, 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 and then he lost against Mount. This is when Mount really took off. Actually took off the week before when Mount played his week 4, and then he ended up just running into a hot player, right? But that's after his transactions were made. I actually think this was the trade deadline right here. So this was actually, I think, his first week with his new team, I think? Question mark? So maybe, and then he lost against James, and then he beat Shady, and it was a 2-1. I felt like Shady almost had him too, so that was a lot of fun as well. So really close matches, like pure dominance. Like he lost against Wolfe, but it was so close, and he was just dominating these other players. And then I feel like even the win he got was really close, and then he kind of got beat by these other 2 players. So yeah, definitely trending downwards. So both players, they're kind of on the downward, not spiral, but they're kind of like not playing well. They're kind of limping through the finish line here, both players. So, but I'm really intrigued by this because both players, they played week 1, they're friends, they talk a lot of trash, you know, this and that, and it's just going to be good Pokemon, guys. So that's basically the matchup at a glance. But let's get into the week 1 teams that they brought. So Wolfe brought Venonat. I thought it was super effective into this matchup. It was really hard to get that Archaludon going when you're struggle bugging so much. And the sleep powder and things like that, like the 97% accurate sleep powder was really hard to deal with for Wolfe. Yeah, that Venonat was just fantastic, and it was hard to take out with Eviolite. Rage powder for the redirection. Hopefully he doesn't rage powder in front of a Terra Grassmon or the Trevenant. Sorry, not the Trevenant. Wait, where's his grass type? Oh, he had Poltergeist. He dropped that. See, he dropped everything good on his team. So the grass type and the Terra Grassmon he was rage powdering in front of, which is kind of funny, but I doubt he'll do that again. He's going to be locked in this one. The Trevenant, I think it's been one of his secret MVPs all season. It's been fantastic. Harvest, you never know. I don't know if he's going to run it. He might run Frisk. It's really valuable. But 2 very good abilities, especially Wolfe's run Harvest in the past and done really well with it. Ally Switch, super sneaky. Woodhammer, Trick Room, Knockoff. Knockoff and Sucker Punch. Like the Terra Dark with the dark coverage on this Trevenant Sucker Punch Knockoff has been so effective for him because it's a defensive Terra and it boosts the damage of these really nice moves that are normally just coverage moves, but it makes them really strong when you get that Terra Dark in front of it. So against the Basculesian, why not? I think he's going to be bringing Sucker Punch against it. He didn't bring it week 1, but I can see it changing up a little bit and running Sucker Punch. Primarina, what do we even say about this thing? This thing has just been kicking ass and taking names all season. He didn't click D-Gleam as much as I liked in that week 1, but Moonblast was just super, super powerful. The Fairy Feather just boosting it even further. He still has no Fairy Resist, so expect Primarina to be like an absolute monster in this matchup again. Why don't you? Like, you can only Terra 1 Pokemon. Terra Fairy Specs D-Gleam for the win. Just set it up, do damage fast or slow, find a middle speed tier, set Trick Room for it, set Tailwind for it, whatever, and just click your D-Gleam and go for it, right? Espathra, he's been using this probably a little bit more than I thought he probably should have. It's a good mon sometimes, but Lumina Crash, like it's really good for getting that speed boost. Going for the Lumina Crash, just chipping, it's not just a chip, it actually does a lot of damage. And then the partner just finishes it off after a -2 special defense drop, right? So if he runs more of a more standard Espathra, I can see it doing really well. He's been liking to set it up with Calm Mind this season, but I don't know, man. I feel like just do damage, right? With that thing, like, and just Lumina Crash just being so good. Why not, right? You can go for it into the Arch. Who cares about the defense boost from stamina? Drop it special defense and just destroy it with something else. Could be a Glamora Earth Power. Could be a Draco Meteor, which it normally wouldn't KO. It could be anything, right? Non-stab fighting. Could be even, you never know, right? So Noivern, again, he's just brought pretty standard Noiverns almost all season, right? Tailwind, Super Fang. He ran Sunny Day kind of a little bit cheeky a couple times this season. Draco Meteor is fantastic. But this thing is very good. It's got Frisk. Just reveals as much as you need all season. I feel like that's one of the strong suits of his team. You find out so much information about your opponents. You can just grind them out by a game 3, right? So I think that's a great thing to have in this matchup. Glamora, it might come. I feel like it's still good. Right on is he had the Rhyperior, I guess, so it's not much of a change, like at least hitting into this team. So maybe he brings it again. Terra Grass made sense with Energy Ball. Why not? Like, it still looks good. It's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Super effectively. Neutral, neutral. Resist. Neutral, neutral. So Terra Grass looks still good. It still looks good. Why not, right? So that's the team that he brought. Let's see what Joey brought. So in week 1, he had the Meow Stick. It's not there anymore, unfortunately. So I'm trying to think what that would need to be. Like, you're not going to really have a similar role as you did with Meow Stick in week 1. It's just completely different Pokemon. Like, you could set screens. You can run the supportiveness with your Chimecho or your Comfey. It just is not the same. It's not going to do the same thing. So I would almost completely delete it from the team. Like, it's not the same. Like, Rhyperior, there's a comparable in the Rhydon. You have the... like, I guess the redirection, he doesn't have redirection anymore either, other than like ally switch, right? So even this thing, you don't have anything that can really compare to it. Like Life Dew maybe with Lapras. But yeah, like the healing, I guess we'll delete that too, because there's really nothing comparable. So what does Joey bring? He's got a much different roster. Basculegion didn't come the first, well, it did, there it is. Yeah, it did. So what didn't come? Yeah, I guess the Greninja didn't come, right? Yeah, Greninja didn't come. Does that look good into the team? He's had it all season, so maybe he brings it. Maybe. But I feel like these are really nice pieces. You need to support them. So I think the Comfey is definitely going to come to this match. Why not, right? In what regard? I don't know. It's probably going to have the triage ability. But yeah, you need to keep your pieces alive, right? I can see like a late game Last Respects being pretty good. Clear Amulet did make sense on the Basculegion because of the Arcanine, but maybe you don't care about the Arcanine because you just get rid of it. Like -1 attack on Basculegion with a Wave Crash and Arcanine, I think it still goes down. Who cares? So maybe you run more of a damage boosting item. Like I personally, when I'm building, if I'm facing an Intimidate user, some people say, well, I can't run anything other than Clear Amulet because I don't want to get intimidated. But if you run a Choice Band, you get more damage off before, so you get a damage boosting item. If the Arcanine isn't there, you get your Choice Band. Fantastic. What's the worst thing that could happen? He intimidates you, you're back to what you would have as an attack stat with Clear Amulet. So as long as they don't have double Intimidate, you can run Choice Band or Life Orb and still not have to worry about the Intimidate too much. So maybe that might be the sidestep he takes in a matchup like this. So that would be kind of cool to see. Arch. What do we say about Arch? How standardly good this thing is. This thing is such a nuisance. And Wolfey, the way he dealt with this thing in week 1 was more so just stop it from doing more damage. I'll deal with you later. That's kind of how he did it. He just kept on using Struggle Bug, redirecting those electro shots and whatever it might be It did run Dragon Tail, so he might be able to get off the field what he doesn't like, but not after getting your -1 special attack. So maybe a Covert Cloak on the Arch, I don't know. Maybe Clear Amulet on the Arch. Could you imagine? That'd be crazy if he did that. Because of how effective the stat drops were on it, he's got Snarl, he's got Struggle Bug, right? Like, there are ways to drop the special attack, right? But, you know, there's no Eerie Impulse that I see. So you don't necessarily have to worry about him dropping the special attack other than through those secondary effects. So maybe Covert Cloak or Clear Amulet is the way to go on Arch. Enable it with the Rain, go from there. Rhyperior I thought was fantastic for him that week. Like, Rhydon I think looks great. Like, why not bring Rhydon in this set? Just have a defensive Terra just for that prim. Wolf did bring a lot of like grass coverage. Like, he brought what, Glamora with the Terra Grass Energy Ball. He brought Energy Ball on a Spothra with Terra Grass. He brought the Trevenant. Like, he was definitely ready for that Rhyperior, but a defensive Terra changes everything, especially with Eviolite. This thing is even bulkier than Rhyperior was, with only a slight drop in attack. I can't even see that. What is it, 140? So it's 130. You know, you gain crazy amount of defenses with the Eviolite, and then you just drop a little bit of attack. So just fantastic, right? But let's see. So what else is on this team? The Pelipper. I think it's just going to be an enable the rest of the team. Like, Weather Ball looks great just in case he wants to change the weather. And then you could just go for the fire type Weather Balls into like the Venonat, the Mamoswine, the Trevenant, things like that. A defensive Terra like a Terra Grass or something like that. They set the Sun. You don't really worry about the Hurricane so much because it's a 50-50 accuracy. You go for Weather Balls, right? So I think Focus Sash is a great item on it. I don't know where else it would go unless he brings it on, like brings the Jolteon or brings maybe the Sneasel or something like that. Like, I can't see, or the Greninja for that matter. So based on what is coming, I think if you see a Pelipper with a team construct like this, I think Focus Sash is definitely going to be on the Pelipper. So, and it also matches the Tailwind that the Noivern's going to set, so I think that's good too. But as for the last slot, I don't really know. I guess we can kind of get into what we think is going to be brought. Like, I know we've got, let's see, I guess the matchups here. So let's look at Wolfey. So Wolfey into Pokeaim. I don't know if I like the Arcanine here. What you want to intimidate is a water type and a rock type. I don't think Arcanine's coming, like, unless it's like your major Terra candidate. So I'm going to knock the Arcanine off of there. As for the rest of the team, I personally really like, well, Hariyama and Noivern are coming. He's been bringing them all season. Like, I don't know if I like the Espathra here, unless you're going for the Luminacrash to drop the special attack. Like, man, Covert Cloak is sounding so good on Arch right now. My goodness. I think he should bring Covert Cloak Archaludon. That would be very sneaky. Gets around the fake out. I don't like, if he's going for a fake out and then going for a special move into it, I can see the fake out because you don't care about the stamina boost. So Covert Cloak on Arch could win you at least a game. Like, I kind of like that actually. So let's see if we see it. I'm really curious. I'm going for a hard call on that one. That seems pretty good. And let me see. The Venonat I thought was really nice. The Mamoswine, probably not. It's not like I don't want to bring anything weak to water. It's just like, what else are you hitting back, right? Like ground, you have like, okay, fine, yeah, but after some stamina boost, it's really hard to hit it. The defense is so high on Rhydon. You have like, I feel like Mamoswine doesn't want to trade blows, so probably not Mamoswine if I had to take it off the team. So Sliggoo, I don't think is coming, not in an important match like this. So this is 7 Mons. So he didn't bring what this week? He didn't bring the Hariyama, right? Does Hariyama look good? If you're not going to bring the ground type, maybe you can bring the Headlong Rush on the Hariyama, because ground is not bad. You don't mind the ground. Archaludon, like, yes, you probably want to hit it with the close combat, but defensive Terras, a lot of them are weak to ground, right? Rhydon, same thing. If he wants the defensive Terra, you might have a Headlong Rush just to kind of get the job done. Jolteon, if it gets in a position where, you know, say it goes for like the Terra Ghost or something like that, at least you can still hit it. So maybe the Hariyama. So I would probably take the Espathra off the team, but I feel like he likes it. But I think these 6 are the way I would go, personally. And Glamora looks pretty good too. So, but as for Joey's side into Wolfey's, obviously the Arch has to come. I don't think he's going to bring Chimecho. He hasn't brought it all season. I think he leans towards the Comfey. I don't think Sneasel's coming. Actually, maybe to clear the toxic spikes. Hold on, let's not take that off too soon. Lapras, probably not. Jolteon might come because he might need an answer for that Primarina. You can't have too many answers for Primarina. Rhydon, do you maybe not want to bring Rhydon because the Lightning Rod might actually hurt you? I might go on out on a limb and say that, and then maybe the Greninja is off the team. Sneasel could actually do the job against Prim, right? So maybe Greninja comes off. Honestly, I think this could work. Arch, Basculegion, you got your Comfey for support, Jolteon for damage, Pelipper can do damage too, and if you build this Sneasel super good, like, offensively, could get the job done, right? Maybe just throw that Primarina off a little bit, especially with the speed stat that it has, and a little bit of fake out, you know, a little bit of, you know, you find out where the cloak is or the Terra Ghost. Maybe that's the way to go. So I think this is might be what we would see. So this would be my prediction, I guess, for this type of matchup. But who's gonna win, guys? I feel like if Wolf just wants to turn it on, which in a match like this, I could just see him turning it on, right? Just go full prep mode. Because I said earlier in the video that I feel like streamlining your prep and just going really quick, you find out that maybe some tools you wish you had aren't there, and you can play as well as you want, but sometimes the team just isn't quite ready for what they're going to bring. I don't think that's going to be an issue in this matchup. I think when it comes down to a match with this magnitude, this much on the line, win or go home, I think he's going to prep really well, and I think he's going to get the dub in this one. And it's nothing against Pokeaim here. I also think that Pokeaim has less of a team, a strong team, than he did when he originally faced Wolfey. Wolfey's team hasn't changed much. I think I got to give the edge to Wolf, and maybe even more of like a larger margin, maybe 70-30. I would probably, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Wolfey 2-0'd him. And again, that's nothing against the player. I just think the team side by side and the tools that Wolfey has at his disposal, I would give the edge to Wolf. And I think Pokeaim's a hell of a player. I do. It's just I feel like he kind of wrecked his team a little bit. And say what you want, I don't like when people rip into my team, you know, when I draft something I like. But, you know, I got a microphone, right? I got a microphone and a platform, and, you know, everybody deserves to have a microphone, right? You know, if they have one, you know, everyone's opinion matters except for some. But no, but that's just my take on it. I love Joey. I got to know him a little bit in our interview. It was great. I like the way he plays. I love like how he understands the game and just the creativity he brings to the table too. It's just like when you have someone that is equally creative and as talented as you are on the other side, comes down to the roster, and I think Wolf's got the roster right now. So I would give the edge to Wolf in this one. So that means that I'm expecting a James Beck Wolf finals. So really cool. I think no matter how these matches go, the final is going to be fantastic. I don't know what you guys think. Comment down below what you guys think. Where was I wrong? Who do you think's going to win this matchup? Why do you think they're going to win the matchup? What points did I miss? Where was I right? Where was I wrong? How stupid am I, guys? Answer those questions, all of them, down in the description and in the comments down below. I love to read and hear all of them and start a discussion. If you haven't already, join the Discord. That's a lot of fun too. A lot of people have been having really nice prep sessions in there. I've been kind of popping in when I can. We're actually doing some fun things in the general chat right now, which we'll get into in just a second. But so that's basically it. But hey, I promised a spoiler. I promised a little bit of a teaser. So just a short little clip. So check this out. Yes, yes, yes. Ditto and I have collaborated, and whose idea was it? Ditto's or mine? I forget who called who. I guess Ditto kind of dropped into my videos and really initiated the conversation. That rascal, you know, he's just a little guy, right? He just hops in, you know, he's like, I'm gonna be your friend whether you like it or not. That's the kind of guy Ditto is. But so we're collaborating and we're doing what I like to call the Ditto Draft League. So I've been talking a lot of smack about these players all season. And when I say talking a lot of smack, just kind of criticizing and thinking that I know more than them, blah, blah, blah. Now is my chance to actually put my money where my mouth is. I am actually going to play in a draft league with a bunch of other YouTubers. A lot of them you know, some of them you might know, some really, really talented players too, like some that you've seen on the world stage and stuff like that. You're going to see a few different personalities you've seen on YouTube. I bet you're already subscribed to some of their channels already. So I will be revealing more information soon. I teased a bit of the Ditto last weekend, and we're gonna keep going with the Ditto Draft League. Let's see if Ditto joins us for another video in the future. So that's basically it, everybody. So stay tuned with what's happening once the Wolfey Draft League's over. That we still got more stuff going on. We got a draft league coming, so there's more draft league action coming from other YouTubers that you know and love, and you get to see yours truly make a fool of himself on the world stage as well, where everybody gets to see on YouTube, and or we get a couple of wins, and you see that you know, maybe I know a little one or two things, literally one or two things, nothing more than that. So that's basically it for this one. Like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. If you haven't already followed all of the players in this league, we are not watching Uzi, Necra, and Shady anymore and Aaron as the season goes on because they're eliminated, but it doesn't mean you can't keep watching their content. So they have great content. I love watching all of them. They've taught me so much over the years. Keep watching them and keep watching these 4 players that we got in so far. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Playoffs, baby. Peace.